All right.
What's up?
Welcome back for another exciting cover to cover. We got Pandelirium by the legendary Shack Shakers. And as you can see, I believe there's some harmonica in this album.
Possibly.
Just a little bit.
So this is the band's fifth album. It was released in 2006 after being recorded in 2005.
I've heard different. I heard that it was their third studio album. So I don't know if the first two were like indie like recordings or albums or so, or I don't know if they're like legit albums or not. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I seen on Wikipedia it said their fifth album, but then I seen somewhere else in an interview, whatever, they said it was their third album.
Yes, we are live.
We gotta do sound. We gotta sound. Oh, you and me gotta do sound effects as we go. What do you
Okay.
think? We'll do that.
It was
You got a key of C or
recorded at Roswell East Studios, Nashville, Tennessee. Yep Rock. I've never heard of that label. Definitely a small time label. Mark Robertson and J.D. Wilkes, who's the lead singer of the band. Producer.
last great front man.
Yes. Quote Jello Biafra.
And I think Robert Plant said he was a great front man too.
Yes. He wanted him to open for him.
And in 2015, Rolling Stone magazine said that he was the best front man of one of the festivals that had went on that they performed at. I saw him back in the day too, back in the early 2000s, like 2004, 2005, 2006 range, right around there.
That's around the time of this album, right?
Yeah.
And what did you?
Actually, it was before this album. And I will still say that this band is probably one of the best live shows I've ever seen. I don't think JD is as rowdy as he rambunctious as he used to be, but it was probably one of the most highest energy shows I've ever seen.
I could tell.
Which you can see in that video I sent you
Yeah.
guys.
I was just going to say, I could tell that in that video.
All that stuff you see in that video is like from early 2000s.
Just raw freaking energy.
Yes.
I didn't get to see it. My bad.
Oh.
I still there. I could go back and see it. I just haven't seen it yet.
It's funny too because when he's on stage he's so outrageous, but he looks so clean cut. He's got his glasses and his hair is all nice, and he's got a collared shirt with his overalls and his pants tucked in, and his style is really great. There's some of the videos he just looks on point.
I love that style.
Some of the video, one of the times I've seen him, he had the lederhosen. He was wearing nothing but the lederhosen. No shirt,
Just the
just the shorts. And one of the in the video you'll see a clip where he's like climbing like some pipes or something, and like the pipes break and he falls down. They're wiring. I actually seen him do that at one of the shows I've seen him at, where he was climbing on the wiring and the piping right above the stage, hanging. Epic.
So how many times have you seen them?
Seen him twice.
And how did you get exposed to them?
You know, I tried to remember that today. I don't remember.
Like, did you happen to go to the show and then you discovered them, or you heard them before you went to the show?
I heard them before the show.
Were they the main headliner?
Yes. Well, one of the times. The other time they opened up for Reverend Horton Heat.
Ooh, Horton Heat.
Which the Reverend is a guest on this album too.
Nice.
And Jelly.
That makes sense.
some of the guitar playing, you can hear Reverend Horton Heat playing his style.
Well, I know how I got exposed to this album. This show.
Ditto.
I never knew they existed.
Yeah, there isn't really a whole lot of info on the Wikipedia to go on.
Who would you compare them to?
You know what I always kind of would expect, well, not necessarily this album, but this album is the second of their tent trilogy or whatever it's called, like the circus sound type thing, which as far as I'm concerned, every one of those three albums is absolutely amazing. So I couldn't pick a perfect one for the show. So I just picked this one. I forgot where I was going with this, but it's absolutely, probably for me, it's like one of the best trilogy albums out there with these three albums, because what you heard from them before these three albums and what you hear after their second or the third one, they kind of don't quite sound exactly the same.
That's what the article was saying.
I know where I was going with this. On the album after this one, Swamp Blood, to me, it sounded a little more like a swampier, grittier, bluesier CCR, like a gothic CCR.
The one that's after this?
Yeah, but you can kind of hear some of it in this. There's a couple tracks in this album that kind of has a CCR type. You just think of the bayou, the swamp.
So do you think that's why you chose this one over that one?
No, I don't know. I don't know why. I figured y'all would like this one because, honestly, when this album came out, I used to listen to it at one of my previous jobs, and there was like a few older people that didn't know the music, didn't know the band, wasn't really into it, and I would play it because it was a new album at the time, and it actually turned people on to the album where they actually liked the album. So I figured, well, if you can turn these people that don't know nothing about it or even listen to the genre or anything like that, like maybe you guys would like it. Let's see.
Or you played it so much that you got them to submit.
They submitted on their own, and I was impressed. They're like, hey, can you make me a copy of it? Back when people burned CDs. Hey, can you burn me a copy of that, please? Can you burn me a copy of that?
I didn't mean that comment as any indication of my opinion, okay? I'm just in a sarcastic mood.
What?
Never.
I don't believe it. It's particularly the first few tracks. It kind of puts me in. It's like a rockabilly Primus.
That's pretty spot on.
I could compare this to that comes close to what I've heard. That comes remotely close to this was Primus.
But the vocals, like the recording of the vocals, it put me in mind. You guys know who Wes Borland is?
Yeah.
Okay, he had a side project, and for the life of me, I can't remember what it's called. But I had the album, and that's what the vocals put me in mind of, like the way they were recorded, the sound of the vocals, and I'm like, this is kind of neat.
Now, what do you think? For me, considering that one, this label or it still is, even if it's still around, I don't even know if it's still around. It's an unknown label, music label, unknown band to most people. But the production, I think, of this album and these three albums, this is the first one, to Believe. I think it's just hands down because you can hear so many different layers in this album, different sounds and instruments, and I don't know. They must have had like 48 tracks per song, I would say. And for it being a relatively smaller band on a small label, and for it to have a large sounding production like this album did, that alone impresses me.
How many band members are there?
Three.
I was gonna say it's a trio, isn't it?
No, four.
Is there 4?
Who played guitar on? Was it Joe Buck on this one or no? Was that
They
before or after?
they had so many different lineups. I can't remember who was on this one.
Yeah, because
If it's who I think it is, the guy on guitar that played on the Believe album, the album before this, he was kind of a douchebag when I met him.
David Lee
I
on
don't-
guitar.
It could be.
All right. Why was he a douchebag? Elaborate.
All right. This goes back to MySpace days.
oh goodness.
So
Nice.
back during the old MySpace days, I used to talk and chat with the bass player of this band frequently. And like during that time, he was going through some stuff where he was, I guess, going through a divorce or whatever. And when I went to the last time I saw him, when I went to the show and I went up to and talked to the guitar player, I said, "Hey, how's, so-and-so doing? Is he hanging in there with his stuff?" And he's like, "How do you know that? Why do you know that? Why are you talking to him about that?" Bob? He jumped on my case because I was just talking with him, and I knew a little bit of his personal life, and he didn't like that. I said, "Man, what a dick." I said, "Fuck that guy."
You think maybe he was just being protective of his
He
friend?
probably was, and I can't hate on him too bad, but shit, I'm a fan, I'm there to see them play. You don't treat somebody there that's literally minding their own business, just, "Hey man, how's he been doing? Has he been hanging in there?" And then snapping at me because I was asking,
So were you minding your business?
well, I was a concerned acquaintance, if you will. I was concerned. I want to know how he was doing.
I don't see nothing wrong in you asking that. I don't see the big deal.
Because I mean, it wasn't like it was open. It wasn't open information, but I knew it because he told me.
Yeah.
So I was just saying, "Hey, is everything going all right on this tour? Is he hanging in there?" Because I couldn't imagine going on tour when you're trying to go through divorce or whatever it might. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Somebody's personal problems.
But you know what? That was his friend. You're my friend, so fuck him, bro.
Yeah.
Fuck him, bro.
I was watching this.
Bitch.
I looked him right in the souls of his eyes and said, "Bitch."
But it's
But
funny
anyway.
you mentioned the bass player because he bears a striking resemblance to a local gentleman that I know. Shout out to Ben Griswold, who's also a musician.
All right, Ben.
As soon as I saw that, I was like, "Wow, he looks like Ben."
You know who he looked like to me? You ever seen the movie Gleaming the Cube? He looked like Christian Slater's friends, the one that built the skateboard for him.
Yeah.
He looked like a bigger version of him. But anyways, we digress.
All I gotta say is, it's the sound is way bigger than just a quartet.
Yeah.
I thought there was a lot more going on.
Exactly. Like I said, they laid down a lot of layering tracks because, like I said,
I was gonna say there's got
Reverend Horton, he did a lot of guitar work with the other guitarists too. So I'm sure they doubled up on some guitars that way. Especially this type of music being played on an upright bass. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there anything cooler in a band than an upright bass, bro?
No,
No,
I don't think so.
It's a perfect sound.
Could you imagine if Lemmy played an upright bass?
Holy crap!
There's something fucking gangster about an upright bass, right?
I love them.
Yeah. Okay.
Matter of fact, that the song "Monkey on the Doghouse," that's what they call those basses, doghouse basses. And JD, if I recall right, that song's kind of about Mark playing the bass.
Your inquiry on the record label. They were small. They still exist. 1997, they were founded. Bands such as Fountains of Wayne, Nick Lowe, Paul Weller, and Gang of Four.
Wow.
Really?
Did you guys hear they're breaking up after this tour that's coming up?
I know.
Because of us.
Because of us.
And Nick Lowe, is he the guy that sang "Cruel to Be Kind"?
Never heard of him. I heard the name, but I don't know.
Yes.
I couldn't pick him out of a lineup.
Cruel to be kind in the right measure. Cruel to be kind is a very okay.
So what do you guys think of? What would you classify this album as? What genre? Because whenever people ask me, hey, what genre is it? I say it's all of them.
It was
Rap. I mean,
And that's right.
Iron Love is rockabilly polka to me.
Yeah.
That's what I would call that one song.
because you can hear blues, you can hear rockabilly, you can hear polka or
hear
German
everything.
music or whatever. You
Everything.
can hear
Trash, everything.
You could. It's a lot. There's a lot.
Country blues.
industrial. There's some industrial sounds in there, some drum machine type stuff.
That's what I meant by the West Borland. Some of the production that they used in that is very similar to that West Borland album.
But it was in this album, it is just put together so perfectly, you know. I just think JD has a brilliant mind, or whoever the band or whatever that got together and like, hey, maybe we should add this, maybe we should throw this in there, maybe we should add a friggin' typewriter.
Dude, you know what that reminded me of? That typewriter. It's funny you brought the typewriter up. My brain instantly went to when I used to play the first Resident Evil.
That's what I was gonna say.
And she would put in like Raccoon City, and they would put like a thing in the journal. I was like, oh fuck, that's right. It's the first Resident Evil. My mind instantly went to that. You as well?
Yeah, pretty much. Because I think they still do the typewriter in Resident Evil.
Well, I haven't played it since when it first came out, and that typewriter was spooky as fuck.
Yeah. Hey, save your game.
Yeah,
That would put it right around the same era, wouldn't you say? Maybe a few years before, late 90s.
Yeah, Resident Evil 1 would have been 96.
yeah, late.
Resident Evil 2 would have been
Yeah,
98.
so that would be almost 10 years or 10 years. That's a
It's
little
so
over.
actually, yeah, Resident
Resident Evil 4, that was around 2005, and they did the typewriter. So
Evil. Yeah, that typewriter.
actually, this album, I'm gonna bring up Resident Evil 4. That the atmosphere of that game specifically sounds like this album because it's all like rural European country villages. It sounds like this, like muddy. It's like all gray and dark and swampy.
I went up to 3, and then that was it. I had to grow up.
Wow.
Ooh.
I never played Resident Evil.
Oh my god, I was an addict.
I played it for about
I played House of the Dead.
I used to play with the guide, the strategy guide, and my oldest was like 2 years old. And I remember I would sit down and he would sit next to me and watch, and I never realized that I'd be playing it. Dude, and one time I look at him and I put my hand like on his heart, and his 2 years old, his heart was like. I was like, oh my fucking god, what am I doing to this kid, bro? What am I doing to him?
Oh, it's funny.
I was like, okay, I gotta play this on my own.
yeah.
You holding the guide for me and turning the page to make sure I was 2 years old, dude. I'm scarring you for life. So, anyway, okay, I digress. Let's go back to the album.
So I guess a lot of the times they classify them, I guess I don't know if they still do or not, but as American Gothic.
I personally say cowpunk, which is not a genre I know really anything about, but I feel like this would be it.
See, I don't see cowpunk because there's too much polka and there's too much
Wait, cow
blues.
is a thing?
Yeah, cowpunk.
Yeah.
It's basically this, like country punk, but not quite psychobilly or rockabilly. Probably like Hank 3 would probably kind of fit in that category.
But yeah, it says Exclaim, I guess it's a magazine, wrote that Pandelirium evokes an atmosphere of Screamin' Jay Hawkins with more of a sense of humor and a touch more psychobilly goth than overt voodoo creepiness.
Yeah. Jay Hawkins was one that they didn't know what to do with either.
Dude, I love Screamin' Jay Hawkins.
Yeah.
He's probably like one of the best blues fellas out there. Him and Sonny Boy Williamson.
His version of I Put a Spell on You is fantastic.
Yes. For sure.
Sideshow creepiness vibes.
Yeah, it definitely meets the tent, the circus. The circus. That's why I told you guys, you hear this album, you're gonna think you're listening to like a crazy like freak show circus.
Yeah,
like a sideshow.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
Like a band that narrates the program.
But I mean, I don't even know what to say. It's like, I mean, shit, this album's great, man.
This total Jim Boatwright album.
What is it?
It's a Jim Boatwright album. It checks all the boxes.
Yeah.
I mean, the song length, you tend to like shorter songs. I'm just saying, I could be wrong. I'm not saying that's all you like, but it kind of falls into that, and you love rockabilly. That's just my opinion. That's your genre.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's a perfect length for the type of song, type of music it is.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
But even still, like when I was in the rockabilly phase, when this album came out, this album, or even the first one, I was introduced to him this was the album before. This is when I discovered him. This was the album that was out. And when I saw them the first time, that this was the album. So it was in the same realm as the rockabilly, but this was completely different than rockabilly. This was like something else. You know, psychobilly was a big deal too back then. This wasn't even psychobilly. This was in its own class. And then when Pandelirium came out, it's like, damn. And then Swamp Blood came out. I'm like, damn, this band is like amazing. Why ain't they getting the limelight they deserve?
Well, let me ask you a question.
But in a sense, they were, because like one of their songs was on a Geico commercial.
Really?
Yeah,
just randomly.
The show. Remember the show True Blood? Heard the show True Blood?
I know. I saw it, but I know the show. Yeah.
The intro was the Shack Shakers. The intro music was the Shack Shakers.
Wow.
And they done a few other things here and there, but
I think they were probably too weird to be.
I think so.
Popular.
They weren't one of those bands that
they're not profitable.
You can't put a label on them, so they
mainstream. They're not the mainstream,
and they're not going to be poster childs, you know.
Also, like, what song in this would be like a radio hit, or even like be like the single of the album?
This album?
Yeah.
For me, it would be No Such Thing.
Yeah.
But if you're asking me, every song on this album would be on the radio, because I think this whole album's all killer, no filler.
It's weird though, because it's like they all work together so well. It's like taking one piece of the puzzle away, and just having that on the radio by itself would be like whiplash, just coming on from something different to that. Too much difference, I guess. I don't know.
I have No Such Thing up there. It's one of the best songs.
Which one? No Such Thing?
No Such Thing, yeah.
Great song. I was jamming to that earlier.
See, it's hard for me. It's hard to pick a favorite because I love this entire album from beginning to end. But No Such Thing is the song that the other two people, the older people that I told you about years ago that heard this album and they're like, hey, I like that song. Hey, I really like this band. Can I have the album? That was the song that hooked them. But I love that song. I love Iron Lung Lupa. They're all
Something in Water.
Yeah, Something in the Water's got a good thing. Nelly Bell.
What was the time period between those three albums?
This one says 04. So I'm guessing probably a year per album.
Well, it came out, it was released in 06, or that one?
04.
So 04, 06, and let's see, Swamp Blood, 07. So besides the first year, it was one, they went one a year. But like I said, during that Believe album is how I found them. They were doing a lot of touring. So I think between those 2 years is what kind of got them on the map as far as in the underground.
Oh, wow. They're actually on Alternative Tentacles right now, which is Jello Biafra's label. So
yeah, because they're friends with
Kennedy's
him.
label.
Jello Biafra.
Which they've done a lot of stuff together, him and JD.
Yeah.
And JD, let me tell you, JD is a brilliant fella. He's an author. He's done a documentary. He's an artist. He's a musician.
Actually,
he plays, like I said, he plays harmonica, plays banjo. I think he might even play a little piano. All these album covers, if I'm not mistaken, he did the artwork for all these album covers.
she had some of these right here.
So he's kind of a jack of all trades when it comes to creativity.
Go that other one again.
He's recorded with a lot of people too, it looks like.
Yes, he's recorded and he's went on tour with Robert Plant. He's done harmonica work for Merle Haggard. He's recorded with John Carter Cash.
Mike Patton.
This has 14 tracks on it.
Yeah, 7-inch.
14 songs.
He worked with Mike Patton. That's cool.
Yeah, he's done a lot of stuff.
For those not to know, Mike Patton is Faith No More lead singer.
You want it all.
So much more than that. Mr. Bungle.
But he still remains on, JD still remains in the underground. This band to me still is on the underground, but
Real quick.
Honestly, I don't see anything wrong with that.
Exactly. That's what I'm going to ask. Do you see anything wrong with that?
not at all. I kind of dropped off after the album that came out after Swamp Blood, which was like what, two albums after this one. I kind of fell off because my music and everything was changing. I got married, settled down, had kids, didn't get to go to concerts like I used to. But within this year, I started listening to them again, and like, man, I miss this band so much because I still say they're like in my top 5 favorite bands of all time. But nobody hears of them, you know. So it's like, to me, those 3 albums alone makes them one of my top 5 bands.
You wish they would have kept this going longer?
I do. I personally do. Or I wish they would come back and maybe do another of this style. because I really like it. But I mean, think it's almost 20 years later. You know, like we talked about before, people change, their music style changes, but you don't hear anything about it being like a trilogy. Like even at the time when these came out, I didn't know that this was like a theme that they were doing. I just thought that's how they sounded. And it wasn't until the album after Swamp Blood came out that I was like, hey, this is a lot different. What's going on? They change it up.
They went back to normal.
They went back to normal because they started out as kind of a rockabilly blues and stuff.
They sold out. They sold out, man. This is the fun.
I was getting into them.
Yeah, the next album you considered it was the Black Album. They sold out.
But that other album has an amazing song called "Hobos Are My Heroes."
That's their Enter Sandman. That's their.
It could be. Give it a listen one time. Hobos Are My Heroes. They went more of a bluesy, like train riding, you know, hobo, singing about hobos and stuff like that on that previous album after Swamp Blood.
Are hobos as cool now as they were back then?
No.
It's lost its mystique, ain't it?
Yeah. Time era, you know, where hobos jumped on trains to look for jobs and work.
Don't do that.
Dude, they don't hop on trains to look for work anymore.
Oh,
yeah.
But train hopping is still a thing. You can go on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
But it's more of like this is a hobby that I have where I just do this to get to point A, point B, and then go back.
There's a millionaire. I read an article about a millionaire. Every year or whatever, every couple years, he hops trains. He rides across the country back and forth. He tells his wife and whatever that, hey, I'm going to be gone. I'm going to do my train hopping for 6 months or whatever it is, and I'll be back home when I am.
This is a millionaire doing that?
He's a millionaire doing it. He just loves the thrill of riding the rails.
That's like that guy that went down in the submarine to go look at the Titanic. How'd that go for him? Not well.
No.
Yeah, let's go jump some trains, man. Let's go hop some trains. Trains are little.
I'm gonna tell you a little side story.
The drifter story.
Yeah. A little side.
That's where we're about to go. We're going on branches.
This is all-time boat ride lore.
Okay.
All right. Real quick.
3 kids.
During this time of my life.
We got time. It's only us and one other person, bro.
Okay. Now, but this is gonna make it official. This is gonna be it's on the internet, so it's gonna be forever. During this time in my life.
Wait. Go for it.
During this time of my life, I was obsessed with music that glorified riding the rails, hobos, like that one, drifting, so on and so forth.
Wait. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt, but we need a little music accompaniment, please.
Okay.
I'll be the music guy.
Okay. So anyways, one night after a concert that we saw here in my town, we saw Wayne the Train Hancock, great artist, by the way, modern day Hank Williams. I had a little bit too much to drink. I got cut off at a bar. They told me they wouldn't serve me no more. So I got mad. I ran out the door. I kicked this giant, I don't know if you can see me, giant, about this big, cement flower pot, about 2.5 foot high by probably 2.5 foot wide.
Gotta say yay wide.
How'd that work out for you?
You gotta say yay wide.
No, I went outside and I kicked it over on its side. So all the soil and everything just spilled all over the front of the bar, and the plant fell out. And my family and my wife was across the street at the place that we saw Wayne the Train at. And so I had my cell phone. It was cold that night, by the way. I took my cell phone and I did the old skip a rock across. I threw my phone across the street, like skip the rock. And I went running. Because I had told my cousin in the bar I got kicked out of that I was done. I was fed up. I'm going to be a drifter.
You were 3 shits to the wind, baby.
I said, I don't have nothing here for me no more. I don't want to be here no more.
His girlfriend.
I said,
His wife.
so I said, I'm going to drift. I'm just going to ride the rails. I'm going to be homeless until I figure things out. So I ran outside, threw my phone, skipped the rock right across the street downtown. And I went running. And they're like, hey, where you going? Kept running. So, and I evaded. I went every alleyway, side street, back road that I could so nobody could find me. Then it got to the point where like, man, I'm really cold, freezing. I'm tired. So I tried, there was like a church near downtown, and they had like one of the church buses I tried breaking into so I can get in and sleep. And that didn't work out too well.
How old were you?
26.
Old enough to know better.
25, 20, somewhere around there. 24, 20, 26. Let's just say 26. So I ended up the local newspaper place here in town, the Ledger. I went behind their building into a big bush and I passed out. Lost my knife. I had a pocket knife. I lost this. I woke up and there was a dude that I knew that lived in apartments nearby walking his dog. And it was like it was about 3:00 in the morning. He's like, Jimbo, is that you? And his dog was, couldn't even see me but from the street lights. Because he worked at the place we saw the show at. So he knew me. I was a regular there. I said, yeah, man, hey, I'm really cold. And he's like, hey, you want a sweater? I said, yeah, can I have...
I'm a hobo now.
He let me borrow a hoodie. So I'm like, man, I'm freaking freezing. I'm going home. So I walked home. I just took all the back roads, took my time. I stopped at 1 yard, picked a bunch of kumquats off a tree out of somebody's yard because I was hungry.
Kumquats.
Yeah. And this was like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, I think, at this point. I finally get home. I walk in. My wife still wasn't home because they were still out looking for me. I came in, fell on the bed, passed out. Then I get woken up, getting punched in the ribs. You asshole! I've been looking for you. Fuck you! All this.
You asshole!
Good times.
That was a summary of the evening.
Yeah.
And that is the ballad of Jim Boatwright.
So within my family and the household, it's my
Boatwright.
Keep in mind, I don't get a lot of stories from his early 20s or even like his late teens. So he's like, like out of nowhere, this reminds me of the time I was a drifter. Like, what?
That was a whole 4 hours. I was a drifter for 4 hours.
I was a drifter for probably about 5-6 hours. In the freezing cold, I said, hell nah, it's too cold for this.
Not what it's cranked out to be, huh?
No.
Not very romantic.
Definitely not. Especially when you ain't got no money. You ain't got the right clothing. You ain't got a pot to piss in. You ain't got a bottle to hold anything to drink. You ain't got shit.
So basically,
I'm picking kumquats off trees just so I can eat.
No phone.
I'm amazed there's even kumquat trees, and you were aware of that. That's what.
Oh,
It's me.
I grew up with them things, man. Those things were my favorite. So I saw them like, ooh.
I'm living off the land. I'm living off the land.
Yep. Pillaging. So yeah,
6 hours.
that was the story. I was a drifter.
Look, and all of a sudden we got 3 viewers, and they heard this. Now it's on the tube. It's
Forever.
On the tube. Forever. And it happened here.
Which takes
Well,
us back
that's
to the
not
Shack
Tom
Shakers. Are they hobos? Are my heroes?
Not
They
that,
ain't got no bills.
but not that album.
No.
The next one.
2 more
Oh.
after
there.
this one.
Well, people, you came for kumquats and you got kumquats.
And drifters.
This album.
There you go.
Now I'm not sure if JD designed it, but I'm assuming he did because he painted the first album, or not the first one, but the one before this and the one after. So I'm assuming he designed this one too. Painted it.
Bobby
You
Hill.
know what this album cover reminds me of? Monty Python.
He says Bobby Hill.
Oh, that too.
Who's Bobby? Who's Bobby?
Damn it, Bobby. King of the Hill, Bobby.
King of the Hill.
That's my purse. I don't know you.
I don't know you.
Damn it, Bobby.
There's a trumpet for a tail, right?
Or it's sticking out of something.
Rectum. What's up, Barry?
But it's got like
Damn, killed him.
it's got a Valentine's Day type heart arrowed through the side of the pig body. I guess that's a pig body, yeah.
Looks like a pig to me.
Yeah.
You got a clown. I don't know if it's a Jack in the Box in front of it.
Is that what that is? Yeah.
I think so, yeah. And I can't really make out of all of those are just yellow or pink flowers.
Got a fez on his head.
Yeah. Oh, Shriner.
Beep, 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 beep.
But it looks like your typical sideshow, banner.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It goes with the music that's inside.
Yeah.
Definitely what I was going for. What's up, Harry?
What does Pandelirium mean?
Let me check.
That's a good
Good
question. I meant to research this before.
So did I.
Yeah, we always try to be prepared for the show. But we
I
always
said that in the chat.
Yeah, we always fall short, and it's not just you, Donnie. It's all of us. But you know what? That's how I like it. I like to fly by the seat of my pants. I guess there's a little hobo in me.
Okay.
Pandelirium is a word that means a wild uproar or unrestrained disorder, such as when a crowd of people are angry or excited. Synonyms of Pandelirium include babble, turmoil, and bedlam.
Interesting.
Pandemonium. Oh.
But it's a delirium.
Pandelirium.
Yeah.
Favorite song?
I would say the opening track, Ichabod, is perfect.
Great opener. Really get you into the mood for the album.
It's nice.
That's my favorite song on the album.
Let's see. Man, like I said, it's hard for me to pick a favorite one.
I will say, Thin the Herd is really good, especially being an instrumental. Real good.
I'm gonna say I like the first three. The first three are really good.
Yeah. I'm going to say Iron Lung Lupa. I mean, I really like No Such Thing, but to me, that's like an easy pick.
Would that be the most commercial song on the album?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would say Iron Lung Loompa, or I don't know. Nelly Bell's pretty cool. Let me tell you about the story of the song Nelly Bell. And if you go back and listen to it again, that's actually JD. He was reading a woman's obituary. The woman, her name was Nellie Bell, who passed away. And you'll hear him in the song. All he's doing is like, her service is at 6:30. It's talking.
Okay.
He's basically singing an obituary.
Oh wow.
That never dawned on me when I listened to it earlier.
Yeah, it was a real obituary that I don't know why he picked that one, but oh, Nelly Bell. A little fun fact for you.
My top 4 are Ichabod, No Such Thing, Gypsy Valentine, and Bible Candle and
Skull.
Wall. I like those. My number 1 least favorite, and I didn't like Iron Lung. I did not like it.
No?
No, I did not like it. And something
In the Water?
Yeah, Something in the Water wasn't my favorite as well.
I like that song. I thought it was pretty good.
I didn't really care for the Ballad of Speedy Atkins.
I have to hear that one. I don't remember that one.
And Gypsy Valentine after a certain point.
I like Gypsy Valentine.
I liked it up to a certain point, and then it just got a little too redundant for me.
That's what I felt about the whole album in general. It felt like it was it's almost like a concept album for 3 albums. So it just felt like it was a lot of the same for me. That's the only critique I have. It just got like I feel like I'm almost listening to the same song over and over again. But that's about it.
But the one thing that I will say in rebuttal to that is, for me at least, every one of their songs has a hook. They're not like some of the previous bands we listened to, and it's like,
yeah, Tommy was like retreading old.
Well, not
water.
even. It's like even Gang of Four, even like the Gang of Four album. It was there was only like the 2 songs that had like a hook, that something that was catchy, something you. For me, this whole album every song had a hook.
Had a hook.
And if you listen to any of these albums that they do, the tent show ones, to me they all have like a hook to them, something catchy. But yes, I kind of agree. You do have that same kind of sound, but they got a hook.
It's the same. Different.
It's everything. No, I'm kidding. I'm just you know what? I need to listen to this a few more times. To be honest, I only listened to it twice. I gotta listen to it more.
Damn.
I think I listened to it 2 or 3 times today alone.
Yeah,
but
it's fast. It's only like 30-something minutes. It's like half an hour.
I heard this almost the whole album on the way home from work today.
I listened to it the most in the last couple days, just kind of preparing.
I listened to it after a couple of days after our last show, and today. I need to listen to it more.
I will have to say it's been a while since I've listened to an album all the way through, and then instantly restarted it to listen to it again all the way through.
That's something good, no? I think that's a good freaking. I think that's a good upgrade.
I mean, that was 2 of the times today that I listened to it. It was one after another. Did it at work.
Real quick, Bo. You said you played it for everybody at work, so you were listening on your headphones. You were playing it out for everybody.
At my old job, when this album was new, it was on an actual like boombox type radio. I put the CD in.
What was your initial reaction when you did that? You got I'm just guessing, but I would think, did people take turns with their music?
Yeah, we all took turns. Like everybody, each round, you get to put a CD in. Whoever. And
what was the initial reaction? If you remember, I don't know.
Yeah, at first it got some giggles, it got some weird looks, it's got some this, then it kind of got some like, hey, I like that. That's a good song. That's a good song, and that's a good song. And then, a couple people actually drew to it. And matter of fact, the second time that I went to go see these guys, I took two of the younger guys that I work with. We all went to the show together, and the one was a Puerto Rican from New York.
Nice.
And the other was like a prep. He was like a
Preppy?
He was kind of a preppy type guy. He had Slim Shady, like blonde forward type thing, nice fade type, dressed real nice. So these guys were completely out of their element, but yet they still dug them enough to like, yeah, I'll go with you. I'd like to check them out. And I guarantee you, if I were to talk to those guys today, because I don't stay in contact with them no more, they'll still tell you about that show, because at one point during the show, JD was up singing and he was blowing snot rockets on people in the front row. And spitting, and he was spitting and blowing snot rockets. And
Do you by chance remember what kind of music they would play on their terms?
at the time, one might have picked like Limp Bizkit. One might have picked like some hip hop stuff at the time,
All right. Just trying to see where their likes were. If you could remember, that's all.
It definitely wasn't in the same genre as me.
Okay.
Like I said, one was a Puerto Rican kid from the Bronx that moved down here.
What are you saying? He listened to salsa?
He didn't listen to it at all, but he liked it, and he went to a show with me. So I'm like, yes, I am.
That Wes Borland album was called Big Dumb Face.
That's cool, dude.
Side project. Anyway,
Thanks for selecting this, because I never would have heard it otherwise.
yeah, me neither.
Yeah, I think this was a good idea. You switched yours. This one turned out good.
No, man, it's listening to music that I've never heard.
And like I said, this band, these three like concept albums or whatever you would call tent show albums, whatever, is what drew me to this band and what makes me love this band. So I'm like, a lot of people never heard of them, and I just figured, well, maybe I should change it to this so you guys can hear a little something different instead of, my first pick or two picks or whatever I switched from.
We're going to listen to Mark Anthony next.
Let's do it.
Who the hell's Mark Anthony?
Exactly. Let's listen to reggaeton next.
What?
Is it Italian?
No.
Rigatoni.
Oh, I guess it might help if I freaking shared it. Jesus.
Let's do it. So hold on. On a scale like 1 to 10, what do you guys put this album at?
Really not my genre.
Really?
Yeah, it really isn't. But I'm not gonna shit on it, because you know what? You brought up a great point at the beginning. The production is fucking spot on. It sounds really fucking good as far as the production. It's fucking clear. It didn't seem like it's four people in the band. The sound is really full, I guess is the best word I could say. So I would give it like a strong 6. I could see it totally being your and I totally get why you love it.
Sure.
I'm gonna give it a solid 8.6.2.
I give it a 9.
8.6.
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
It's one of them larger calibers.
My God.
On 7.62 AK-47 rounds.
Black tip.
Hollow points.
I'm gonna go 6.5 to 7 range.
Yeah, that's fair.
I will say I probably enjoyed this a lot more than I probably would have because I've been listening to a lot of this kind of music
Okay.
before this album was picked, so I was already like in the mood for it. So
And that helps, right? It's
it really
like-
does.
I'm listening to Erica Badu. I've been into Erica Badu and more jazz. You know, that's what I've been listening to. So it's yeah. If you're listening to stuff in this wheelhouse, I can see if that helping.
I'm definitely a fan now. I will say that.
You gotta listen to the other albums. Spin that wheel, Donald.
What album?
We got the Low End Theory and
Oh, Low End Theory.
An Electric Warrior.
what is that? I've never
Electric Warrior. What the hell is Electric Warrior?
Explain yourself.
So the next album is Electric Warrior by T-Rex.
Okay.
If you're not familiar with T-Rex, it's Mark Bolan. He started out as the band of more folky tinged Tyrannosaurus Rex, and then they basically electrified a la Bob Dylan, and got induced some heavier elements, and brought in a couple other musicians to the band and created, in my opinion, a fantastic album. This album is known for Bang a Gong, which is probably their solo lone hit. So
Is this like
T-Rex.
T-Rex? So except for that song, Bang Bang Down. Is this like like Slade? I guess.
yeah, it fits into that vein of glam rock, Slade, and the Sweet, and
Glam rock.
You know.
That's what I was trying to get at.
because he wore the high heel boots, that platform shoes and shit like that, and but it was very, this album and its follow up, The Slider, were, I think, really good albums.
I haven't heard before except for that one song, so I'm looking forward to this. And then I don't know what the hell we're doing with the Low End Theory on this show.
That one's gonna be spectacular.
gonna suck.
Who is that one?
That's the Tribe Called Quest.
Oh, okay.
Let's do hip hop on here.
Who's heard it?
I've never heard it.
You guys have to do it.
Although yesterday I binged some DMX and some Wu-Tang Clan at work. I binged it.
Make me lose my mind.
So you still haven't heard Low End Theory?
No, not me.
Yeah, I was hooked on Low End Theory and Midnight Marauders for a few years.
Yeah.
But we're talking T-Rex next.
T-Rex.
T-Rex next.
Low End Theory is yet to come. Q-Tip.
Step Brothers.
Go. Do it, baby.
You got to do like that kid did in that video.
Get that camera off, right?
What do we think in 2 weeks?
You tell me. I'm an open book.
I think 2 weeks works. If anything changes, I'll let you guys know. But I think that's just. I might have a Saturday though. What is that? The 19th?
Yes.
Yeah, I
18th,
can't.
19th, 20th.
Yeah, I can't do the 18th, but the 19th I should be fine.
Okay.
Alrighty.
We'll shoot for the 19th of October. T-Rex, Electric Warrior. Go check out the legendary Shack Shakers Pandelirium. Fantastic, fantastic album. Thank you, Jim, again for throwing that one up. And we're going to get out of here. Thank everybody who popped in the chat. Journey, Jeff, Perry, anybody who watches on the rewind. Drop your thoughts in the comment or whatever. I'm hoping I reached out to my friend Freddie to get his thoughts if he ever heard the album. I said drop your thoughts. If feel free to. And I guess we're gonna get out of here. Y'all have a fantastic weekend. Stay safe wherever you are. Keep all those in the South that are impacted by the recent storms in your thoughts. If you can, get some help.
Comics Curing Cancer is going on as well.
Yeah. Comics Curing Cancer. Throw your lot in there. And in the meantime, get out there and listen to some music.
And drifting's overrated.